Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and hauntings.
Today's story is a true crime story involving 6 different people. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Erica.
Let's get into it. So today we're talking about the Blue-Eyed Six, and this has been hotly requested, but also is apparently a huge legend in Pennsylvania, which I never heard growing up. Have you ever heard of this, the Blue-Eyed Six?
No, honestly, it sounds like the 6 chicks from 13 going on 30. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I do. Yeah, it is not quite that. And it's in Lebanon, PA, so it's even towards eastern Pennsylvania.
That's really surprising then that I have not heard of it, because we both kind of grew up around there.
Yeah, I was surprised. So this story involves a lot of true crime that informs the haunting. Picture, it's December 1878, and there's an alleged drowning in the town.
Okay.
The drowning is of Joseph Raber or Raber, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his last name, and he had fallen into Indiantown Creek. Upon investigation, the coroner finds no bruising, no strange marks on him, and he's about 60 years old, so they assume that he just fell.
Right, like fell into the... I was going to say at 60, which is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But at 60, if you stumble, it can be easy to not, be able to regain your balance.
Yep. Yeah, I believe he was 60. And they're like, well, I guess there's no way to confirm that he just fell, but he doesn't have marks until Charles Drews steps up and offers to testify that he saw Joseph fall into the creek. So this is another person in the town.
Oh, okay. So he steps up just to say, yes, he fell.
Yeah, he fell into the creek and drowned.
Okay.
So once Charles steps up, other people start saying, yeah, I think I saw him fall into the creek. So it's a drowning. Shut and closed case.
Right.
Raber, either way, Joseph was buried at Moonshine Church. So again, open and shut case, right?
You would think.
Wrong.
I'm assuming no.
Because in this time, the late 1800s, it was not illegal to take out insurance on other people. So...
just like random people?
Yep.
Well, that is not great.
Yeah. The example I was going to give of I could take insurance out on you, but I at least know your birthday and your address. But if this was the 1800s, a listener could take out an insurance policy on us.
See, now that is how parasocial relationships have probably started, is this insurance policy thing.
It's crazy. It's crazy that they were allowed to do this. And many townspeople, as it turned out, had insurance on Joseph.
Oh my God.
So he was 60 at the time of death, right? And it is the 1800s, so he was probably likely to die soon anyways. But there was a total of $10,000 in 1800s money in insurance claims on Joseph. Now, that's over $350,000 today for people that weren't his family.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Honestly, I don't know how that could have even been a thing, because I know obviously that as time goes on, we start learning about how people use the tools that they are given to do not great things, and then we evolve. But this seems like should have never happened to begin with.
I agree. And this honestly, it reminds me of the poison ring story, because it's like getting the insurance money and insurance fraud. So the insurance company was the people that decided to investigate, because they're like, this is fishy. We don't want to pay out all this money. Let's do an investigation.
Well, kudos to the insurance company, because guaranteed today that would not happen.
Right. I know. Right? And eventually 6 men were charged with conspiring to kill Joseph. Frank Stickler, Israel Brandt, Henry Wise, Josiah Hummel, George Zechman, and unsurprisingly, Charles Drews.
That I could have seen that one coming from a mile away.
Right. And a witness had seen Joseph, Stickler, and Drews walk down to the creek and drown the man. And this whole thing becomes who actually did it versus who conspired just to kill him. But eventually it didn't matter because Wise, Drews, Stickler, Brandt, and Hummel all ended up confessing to the murder in the early 1879. But Zechman, he didn't confess, and he asked for a retrial. He was actually found not guilty.
Really?
Yes. So the convicted men, the 5 of them, were hung. Strangely, all of these 6 men had piercing blue eyes, which is how they get the name the Blue-Eyed Six.
Right.
Because that's a very, very recessive trait.
Yes.
Interesting. So that's the true crime portion. Any questions on that? Because that's a lot of information.
I don't know that I have any questions. I will say that him not having marks does make sense, because if there were multiple of them, they literally could have just picked him up at being 60.
Yeah.
And drowning him. So, like, it makes sense to me that it wasn't like a blunt trauma murder where they were able to take advantage of this guy. This is so sad, though.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the last moments.
I
like
know.
how terrifying that must have been.
And I'm not saying that $350,000 isn't a lot of money, because it definitely is, but all for a cut of $350,000. Like, that's taking someone's life.
Yes. And I'm assuming it wasn't just the 6 of them that had the insurance policy. So now you're getting, I don't know if they only thought the 6 of them had taken out an insurance policy, but like now you're not even getting 6 cuts. You're getting more, more.
Yeah. Well, now you're getting none because you're dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a fair point.
Yeah. So the paranormal portion of the story is really interesting because it involves the haunting of the one of the 6 who was not hung, George. So George went on to develop coughing seizures and was said to have very painful ailments throughout his life, for the rest of his life following his acquittal. People say that this was kind of like karma.
Yeah.
Because he should have been convicted. And some people say that it was Joseph haunting him in the afterlife and causing these things through like various different methods.
Honestly, the haunting is where my mind first went. I don't know this for a fact, but like stress and guilt can do a lot to a body. So he was acquitted, but if he was lying, then I can imagine possibly feeling guilty or stressed after this acquittal might have caused some of the health issues too.
Yeah, absolutely. And he actually died at the age of 39, which was, I mean, this is the 1800s, but it's still considered early, I think.
I know that it was the 1800s, but that is still, to me, super young.
Mm-hmm. And to have such a painful life afterwards, like you said, even if it's guilt and stress, it's not a coincidence.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
But I do like the idea that Joseph's ghost was haunting him and harassing him.
See, yeah, absolutely valid feelings from Joseph.
Additionally, Joseph Peters, who was not the guy drowned, but one of the fraudulent reporters, said that he was haunted by the ghosts of 5 corpses throughout his life. And he said that they would bewitch and torture him, which people think because he was supposed to kind of be a part of this and gave that fraudulent account that, Joseph actually fell and drowned and then went back on it, that the 5 that were hung kind of went after him in the afterlife.
Which is very sad. It's like, a person stepped up and like did the right thing in an era where probably didn't need to, because investigations weren't as intense as they are now, and did the right thing and is now like haunted for it forever.
Right. And it's like these guys are bullies. They were bullies in their life and they were bullies in their afterlife.
Yeah.
And I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but in this case, it's like the shoe fits.
Right.
There's still more hauntings because the church where victim Joseph is buried is Moonshine Church, right? And it's said to be haunted by some of the men, actually. Many people say that they see floating, glowing blue lights, which are thought to be the eyes of the murderers.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting because the whole time I was researching this, I'm like, the blue eyes, yeah, that is kind of a weird coincidence, but how does it tie in? But when they see any of the ghosts of the murderers, seems like the blue eyes are almost glowing. Like that's a clear way to differentiate this ghost from other ones.
Right, yeah, which is interesting. I wonder what they're doing in Moonshine Cemetery. Like, is it a continuation of what they were, what they were doing in life, like bullying him? Is it like a guilt thing where they're trying to apologize?
Yeah. That's a good theory. What if they're trying to do the right thing, but everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying.
Yeah, which, valid. But I'm just wondering, like, what the intentions are. Because they were obviously punished for their actions. And at this point have had 200 years to think about it. Mm-hmm. If they're still haunting this location. So, who knows?
Yeah, and what's interesting is not only are they seen at Moonshine Church, but they're also seen near the graves where they're buried. So it seems to be like a continued presentation, because I thought maybe there's something in the church that's like casting this light, but even specific to their graves, I think definitely this haunting makes sense.
Yes, for sure.
Additionally, a haunting is Mrs. Stickler, who was the mother of one of the Blue-Eyed Six. She claimed to see her son rise from the grave. Now, this woman had some interesting things going on. She had had him exhumed and reburied him in her flower garden outside her home. So many assumed she was struggling with grief that caused these visions.
That's exactly where my mind went first. When people lose someone, obviously, no matter who it is, there's a lot of grief there. But I can't imagine being a parent and losing a child. So I would believe that a parent who's lost their child, like, has hallucinations because of their grief.
Absolutely. Especially, like, back then where there wasn't, support, really.
Yeah.
That was my thought. I'm like, she's gone, struggled with her grief. However, years later, someone was visiting the house and claimed to see a phantom man rise from the flower bed.
Ooh.
Didn't know the backstory.
That's terrifying and gives credence to Mrs. Stickler's observation.
Yes. So imagine your whole, like, I guess it's not her whole life, but a large portion of your life, you're like, no, the ghost of my son is rising from my flower bed. And people are like, okay, dear.
Okay.
And then, like, this random man comes along after she's passed away and sees him. And it's like, he was.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk about, and this is no shade to Mrs. Stickler, because again, grief is very hard. People deal with death in different ways. But when you exhume a body, sometimes, even if the intentions are good, you can disturb the spirit. And so it would make sense to me if the son's spirit was kind of like disturbed from being moved.
Yep.
And like showing up in the flower bed.
Right. Or even just the fact that they all were kind of restless spirits. It's like you're saying, it further agitates it, but he was already restless to begin with. And I think something else interesting is the man that saw him rise from the flower bed, like I said, didn't know the story. And he said it was very strange because the phantom man had glowing blue eyes.
Ooh, that's kind of crazy.
Yes.
That is kind of crazy. I can't believe he didn't know the backstory.
Yeah.
That's the part that gets me.
Well, I mean, he claims to not have known the backstory.
That's fair. That's fair. Allegedly doesn't know the backstory. I wonder if what is his first name? I'm so sorry. Is it Joseph? George Stickler.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's trying to get back to where the other four are.
Oh, he's like rising to walk to their graves. That's a thought. I was thinking a lot about these hauntings, and I do wonder if the other Blue-Eyed Six members rise like that. Like that's a very specific way for a ghost to present, right? They're not just existing or popping up. Like rise to me is almost like a lateral.
Yes.
Like from parallel to perpendicular.
Right.
Very strange.
I don't even know. I'm trying to think if there's a way to relate that to like the way they died from being hanged. But I don't even know how that could relate to that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe it's just how he presented.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe it does have something to do with being exhumed and like moved.
Oh, that's a fair point. Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, I think it's wild that everyone thought that she, was crazy.
Yeah.
And turns out someone else saw it. And I wonder if to this day, people see him there.
Right. How many people have frequented this and seen this?
Right. And it didn't give the address or anything of the house. So I wonder if it's even still there. Because obviously, houses get torn down in 200 years. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. And it all makes a lot of sense. Like some hauntings, I'm like, that's a stretch. All of these make tons of sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like the blue eyes are very, very individual, I want to say.
Specific.
Yes, yeah. Specific. Thank you. And I can never find my words in these episodes, I swear. But yes, they're very specific, and it's very specific to this group of people. And then just the ways that the hauntings are presenting, like, make sense, right? Like, it would make sense if Joseph kind of haunted the last person alive that may have been involved in his death. And it makes sense if the other Joseph is haunted by the 5 that, like, were betrayed by him. Like, it just, everything, the story really does lend itself to every single haunting.
Yes. And this isn't necessarily one haunted location per se. Obviously, Moonshine Church is said to be haunted and the Stickler home. But would you want to investigate these ghosts further?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay. No. For the most part. I would say no. I don't really want to talk to them. I understand, like I said earlier, maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they're hanging around Joseph's grave in order to try to do the right thing. But for the most part, like, seems like they're not great. They weren't in life, and they may not be in death. And so I don't really want any part of that. I do think, obviously there's no address, but visiting the house would be kind of interesting to see if we do see a phantom rising. But that would be like, I would see it and I would walk away. Like, I wouldn't try to engage with it at all. The only person that I might try to visit is Joseph in Moonshine Cemetery.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an open and shut case. It's an open and shut haunting. I don't really feel like there's anything else that I need to learn, except, like you said, maybe get more of Joseph's account. But other than that, I don't see a reason to interact with them, and they seem mean. Not even like ghost mean, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like sometimes ghosts are portrayed as like, oh, they're mean, they're gonna like pull people's hair and stuff. It's not even like that. It just seems like genuine bullying, and like their personality persisted. Not the type of person I would want to talk to in general. And I think in this case, it's best to let the dead lie.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
No reason to stir anything up.
No. Especially, again, like we talked about, like, multiple locations. I feel like, trying to hit every single location, because I feel like that's what you would do, right? If you were going to go investigate this, you would, like, try to hit every location. And it's, like, not even the fact of, like, I don't really want to engage with these spirits, but, like, also you're just kind of bothering them. You're just, like, going to every location that they're at.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God.
Not again.
Yeah.
Please leave me alone. I saw you at, like, 10 this morning.
They're like, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And it's an interesting story overall, especially because it's like a Pennsylvania famous true crime thing.
Yeah.
That I can't believe neither of us had ever heard of.
I know I say this like 7 times a season, but like there is a lot that I just had no idea about. So I love these like listener referrals.
Yeah. And if you're listening and there's something that you want us to cover, maybe you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe they haven't covered X. You can find us on social media at Paranormal in Pennsylvania. And you can also email us at paranormalinpennsylvania@gmail.com. Even if you just want to share your scary story with us or your individual haunting, we'd love to hear from you guys. Even say hi. We do respond to everything that we get, so feel free to reach out to us. And thank you for tuning in for this Thursday's episode of Paranormal in Pennsylvania. Tune in next week to see what history and hauntings we discuss next. Stay spooky, my friends.